Hi, and welcome to Breaking 80 Over 50. If you're new here, this intro is for you. If you've listened before, welcome back. This week's podcast will start in about 3 minutes. Feel free to fast forward if you already know the story. My name is Frank. I live and work in sunny South Florida. I dabbled with golf a little when I was younger, but played maybe 10 or 15 rounds of golf through the first 55 years of my existence. In late 2023, my oldest son called me and said, "Hey, Dad, I'm coming home, and while I'm there, I want to play golf." If you're a parent, you know when one of your kids wants something, you have to make it happen. So I dusted off the 20-year-old burner bubbles sitting in the garage, and we went out and played. I think I won the day, shooting somewhere in the neighborhood of 115, so while the golf wasn't great, I enjoyed being on the course and spending time with my son. So I started playing, and a lot has happened since then. I bought new golf clubs, took lessons, broke 100 for the first time in 2024, joined a golf club, made new friends, broke 90 for the first time in 2025, took more lessons, and then started a podcast to share my journey on my quest to play better golf. This podcast has allowed me to make even more friends and speak to some pretty interesting people about their own journeys. So every Wednesday morning, I publish an episode which generally covers what's happening in my golf game. That could be rounds of golf, lessons, gadgets, or new things I'm trying on the course, as well as books and golf articles that may have caught my eye. I also love to talk about what's going on in the golf world, PGA, LIV, and my favorite guilty pleasure, YouTube golf. Ultimately, though, I want you to know that if you're on your own golf journey, this game is hard, but you're not alone. I promise there are others going through the same ups and downs as they try to conquer this crazy game. It's not easy sometimes, but I promise I'll give equal time to the good rounds and the bad, sharing my thoughts and feelings after a round of 85 or a round of 105. And while the title suggests that this podcast is about playing better golf a little later in life, age, like your score, is just a number. Everyone is welcome. My favorite thing about doing this podcast has been getting to know some of the listeners. So please, don't be shy. Reach out and say hi. I read and respond to every email. The email address is always in the show notes. And finally, remember, golf is a game. If you're lucky enough to be able to get out on the course and play, enjoy it. I can tell you there's no place I would rather be. All right, now that you're all caught up, let's get on with the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. I don't do a great job of this every week, but my name's Frank. I'll be your host for the podcast. It's your first time here. Thanks for being here. If you are a returning customer, welcome back. I'm starting recording a little bit later than I'd wanted to tonight, and I blame it on the YGT. Is everybody excited about the YGT, your golf tour? This is the new YouTube series led by the Bryan brothers and Grant Horvat primarily, and Brad Dalkey filling in as the fourth captain, as 4 teams compete for up to $3 million. And when I got home tonight, I saw that what I thought was the draft video was out, and I was like, all right, well, that's good. I'll make some dinner. I'll sit down, I'll watch the drafts, probably 45 minutes, and then I'll start recording. And I did. Made dinner, watched the draft, and then the video kept going. And what I didn't realize was that it was the draft, but it was also the first round of golf. And the video is north of 4.5 hours long. So I've got a lot of YouTube golf to watch. And I'm excited about that. It's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. It's a great thing that anytime I've got some time in the morning or the evening and 15 or 20 minutes to kill here or there, I will be working my way through the YGT. And I'm sure over the coming weeks, you'll hear more from me about the YGT. A lot of my favorite YouTube golfers all in one place. It should be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it. But before we get to that, I've got some golf to talk about from this weekend. So played 2 rounds of golf, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. went out on Saturday, and it was just myself and Al. Al had been missing for a couple of weeks, but was back on Saturday. Jason, who I thought would be out to play, had something come up, had to travel over the weekend. So just myself and Al, and we did not get teamed up with anybody else. Now, Al, again, if it's your first time here, is in his mid-80s, and he plays from the senior tees, the gold tees. Normally, I play from the white tees, but we've heard in a couple of recent podcasts with guests that it's a good thing to mix it up out there. And even if you play the same course over and over again, you can mix it up by changing which tees you play from. So since it was just the two of us, I told Al, I said, hey, I'm going to play from the gold tees with you on Saturday. And I've done this once before, and I really had to go back and figure out when I had done it. And I'll get to it a little bit later on. But I have played the gold tees once before. And I remember playing them and thinking it didn't make it a whole lot easier. It brought some challenges into play that I wasn't used to dealing with from the tees that were a bit further back. So what's the difference between the gold tees and the white tees? Well, the white tees play 6,119 yards. The gold tees play 5,675 yards. So basically, it's 444 less yards from the gold tees, which I divided that by 18. It's about 24 and a half yards per hole less, the gold tees than the white tees. Now, it's not 24 and a half yards on every hole. There's some holes where it's 10 or 15 yards. There's some holes where it's 60 yards. It depends on the hole. But it's not a tremendous amount shorter. So I was excited for it. I was looking forward to going out, playing the gold tees. Like I said, I did remember doing it before. I remember having a rough day when I did it. So I thought it would be a lot of fun. So we go out, tee off on one, and I hit an errant tee shot. Once I sliced it, I started it right, didn't come back right. So inbounds, but in the rough, some tree trouble, had to kind of punch back out into the fairway, which I did. Then another shot, which came up a little short of the green, chipped on, one putt for par. So started the day on a good note. Second hole, par 4, hit a great drive, leaving myself only about 35 yards in on my second shot. Hit a good one there, hit the green, left it probably 10 feet. It was an uphill putt, which I made for birdie, and started the day 1 under through 2 holes. Great start. Get to hole 3. Hole 3 is a par 3. I hit the ball well and hit it about pin high, but pulled it left into a sand trap, and my bunker woes continued. So double bogey on 3, erasing my birdie and going to 1 over through 3 holes. Move on to the 4th hole. Now, this one was a big difference from the tee. It's a short par 4, but from the white tees, it plays, and it depends where the tees are. I think it's listed at 280. A lot of times there's water on this hole. To carry the water, you've got to carry 230, and then it's another 15 or 20 yards into the green. It's not something, unless the tees are up and the wind's with me, that I would ever really give a shot. But from the gold tees, I think it was only about 175 yard carry over the water and 190-ish into the green, which I've got. And it was decision time off of the tee. Now, the problem is if I hit a driver and I hit the driver well, I hit it too far. I have not had a lot of confidence lately in my 3-wood, or my 4 hybrid, if I hit a 5 or a 6 iron, I might get it there, but decided instead I was going to lay up out into the fairway, play it safe, and I think it was a good decision. It was a mature decision. Ended up putting up a par on number 4. Move on into hole 5, parred hole 5. On the hole 6, errant drive, hit it well, but left rough and trees between myself and the green. Now, something that I've struggled with and I've kind of noticed recently is while I was in the rough, I had a good lie. I had about 100 yards into the green, and I was far enough back from the trees that truly they weren't an issue. With a wedge in my hand, I absolutely should have had no issue getting up over the trees. And I tell myself, I'm getting ready to take that shot, and I'm just telling myself, the trees aren't even there. Do not worry about the trees. They're in the way. Just pretend like it is open space between you and the green and hit a good shot. I didn't hit a good shot. I bladed one that not only did it not get over the trees, it probably didn't get more than 3 or 4 inches off the ground, hit the tree. So that was my second shot, stopped immediately behind the tree. I had to pitch out sideways because I was behind the tree for my third shot. My fourth shot, put it onto the green, 2-putt, make double bogey on 6. Move on to 7, another par 3, another tee shot that distance was great, pulled it left into a bunker. Again, bunker woes continue. Another double bogey on 7. I par 8 and 9 for a 41 on the front. Move on to 10. Par 4, bogey the 10th hole. 11, par 4, make a par. 12 is a par 5, and I birdie the par 5 12th. So now on the back, bogey, par, birdie, I am even par on the back. Move on to the 13th hole. Make a bogey. 14, par. 15, par. 16, par. So if you are keeping score at home, I shot 41 on the front, which is 5 over par. And now, as I look at where I am through 16, I am 6 over par through 16 holes. So Orioles a par 72, which means if I can par 17 and 18, I shoot 78. If I make a bogey on one of the two, I shoot a 79. Now I can tell you at the time, I didn't really know that. I've gotten into the habit of after a hole, I get out my phone, I key my details into the Gin app, but I don't look to see what my score is. I don't want to know. I don't care to know because I'm trying to get out of the mode of playing to a score. But I've got to admit, I knew that I had a good back nine going. I mean, I knew I had a bogey and a birdie and had pretty much parred everything else. So I started to feel it. I started to feel like I'm having a really good day here. I've got 2 holes left to play. And 2 holes, at least the 17th, I'd say I really like. 18 can be a challenge sometimes, but it's not out of the realm of possibility for me to par 17 and 18. But again, I was aware that I had a good round of golf going. Move on to 17, and like I said, it's par 5. It's a little dogleg right. And for the first time all day, I hit a terrible drive. I hit it well. So the 18th fairway is to the right of the 17th fairway. And I hit it to the far side of the 18th fairway. I would say that I missed right by about 100 yards where I was aiming for. So go to the ball. Now you may think, well, it's a dog leg. Right. You're right. It's not so bad. Problem is there's trees and the dog leg goes to the left of the trees. I don't want to say you can't, but from where I am, I've got to go back out into the 17th fairway, and I've got a long way to go. I've got to hit just an absolute missile to get back to a place where I can put up a decent score on this hole. And there's trees between the 17th and 18th fairways. So I've got a window, but I need to try and get it through that window and then hit a little cut to get it moving back out into the fairway. I just said before, I haven't had a whole lot of confidence lately in 3-wood and hybrid, but pulled out 3-wood and absolutely hit one of the best 3-woods of my life. Right through the gap in the trees that I was aiming for, a little cut back out into the middle of the fairway. And after hitting, again, on a par 5, a tee shot that was a good 100 yards right of where I was aiming for. After my second shot, I had about 60 yards in to the green. So unbelievable recovery. Get ready to hit my third shot. And I'd had a lot of shots around that number in that 50, 70 yard range on Saturday. And I'd been hitting them really well. For some reason, and again, I think it was I know I'm having a good day and I've been on a roll with hitting these kinds of shots. I started to overthink it and ultimately took an approach wedge, decided I was going to try and bump it up onto the green. And I didn't. I hit it fat. Ball came down short of the green, ended up having to hit another chip onto the green. So now I'm on in 4 and I've been putting the ball really well all day long. It was a tricky little putt in that it was probably 20 feet. The first 4 or 5 feet were slightly uphill. And then the next 15 feet were slightly downhill. And for the first time all day, I really misjudged the speed, hit it too hard, and ran my 20-foot putt a good 12 feet past the hole. Left the putt coming back a little short, ended up 3-putting for a double bogey 7. Now, again, I really didn't know exactly where my score was at that point, but that double hurt. Made a great recovery after a really poor drive and just squandered it with some bad wedge play. So frustrated going to the 18th tee, hit my tee shot on 18. And while it wasn't quite as bad as the tee shot I hit on 17, the same family, way right out into the trees that separate 17 and 18. And this one did not get out into open space. It stayed between 2 kind of clumps of trees, left me not a great lie, but I did have a shot into the green and was only about 125 yards out. So even there, I'm like, it's fine. We're going to hit a good shot here. We're going to put one on the green. We'll make a birdie putt and let's finish this thing strong. Didn't go that way. My second shot, I hit fat. Like I said, had about 125 yards in. I hit it 40 of the 125, leaving myself still 85 yards after my second shot. Now the frustration's starting to build. But got over the ball, took a deep breath, said, you know what? It's okay. Been playing well all day. Let's finish this thing strong. And I hit just a dart into the green, leaving myself about 5 feet to the hole. Made that putt for par. Then keyed it into the Gin app and went to look at my score and saw that I shot 41 on the front, 39 on the back for an even 80. Now, it's my best round of golf ever. It's the first time I've ever broken 40 on a 9-hole stretch. I wasn't really going into it. First of all, going into it, I didn't think that the 70s were in play. But if they were, I don't want to say I wouldn't count it. I've talked about in the podcast, and the name of my podcast is Breaking 80 Over 50. And I'm at a place where I'm focused on breaking 80 from the white tees. Had I broken 80 from the gold tees, I would not have ended the podcast and said, hey, it's over. I did it. I broke 80. But man, it still would have been an accomplishment. And again, it's one of the things that people have talked about is playing a set of tees forward, getting used to shooting better scores so that when you do go back, maybe you don't feel the pressure as much. You get used to playing better golf, and it makes it easier to shoot those scores from the next set of tees back. Like I said, while there's a difference when you talk about, total of 444 yards over 18 holes, and like I said, that's 24 yards per hole, it's not huge. So for me, that's still a really good round of golf, is to go out and shoot 80 from the gold tees. And I'll come back to it in a little bit and try to frame that, and it's what I've been doing for myself and trying to give myself a frame of reference. Well, what does that really mean that I shot 80 from the gold tees? How does that compare to the scores I shoot from the white tees? So either way, and Al said, because we were talking about it, he said, look, you still had to go out and hit shots. I don't care which tees you play from, to go out and shoot an 80 from those tees. You played a really good round of golf today. You should be proud of that round of golf. And I was. Again, I just felt like, I don't know, I was cheating a little bit, moving up and playing from the gold tees. But it was a great experiment. I'm glad I did it. And I almost did it again on Sunday. So go back out on Sunday. It was hot Saturday. And Al said, hey, I'm out. You're on your own on Sunday. I'm not going to be able to play again. So on Sunday, I played with Jeff, who I've played with before. Good guy, mid-60s. He plays, his son Steven plays out at Oriole, who's a really good golfer. And they usually play on Sunday. They're generally the group right ahead of us. I think on Saturday, they're the group right behind us. So was happy to play a round of golf with him. And I know he plays from the gold tees. So I was thinking, well, I might do it again on Sunday. But we got a third person, which was Sonny, added to the group, and Sonny was playing from the whites. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna play from the whites on Sunday. So start the day Sunday, and it looks eerily like how I started the day on Saturday. I make par on the par 5 first. I birdie the second. The third hole, I bogey, which means that after 3 holes, I'm actually a stroke ahead of where I was on Saturday. Then we go to 4, and 4 was the hole that I talked about, was over water from the front tees. You could definitely carry the water with, if I had any confidence in it, certainly with a 4 hybrid, maybe with a 5 iron, but back at the white tees, you can't. So I hit beautiful 6 iron right out into the middle of the fairway, leaving myself 100 yards in. And this hole is a problem for me, and it kind of owns me. Something about it that I'm having a hard time getting set on that second shot. And I felt that way again on Sunday. Long story short, I've got 100 yards in, wedge in my hands, hit it fat, put it in the water, have to drop, make double bogey on 4, move on to 5. And when we get to the green on 5, it starts to just drizzle a little bit. I'm standing over a putt, and there's condos. So we're on the 5th hole. The tee box, obviously, for the 6 holes is close by. There's condos on the other side. and you can hear it while it's drizzling on the green. It's raining hard on the condos that are 100 yards away. So I was like, oh, we got to go. Well, I hit that green in regulation. I 3-putted as I was rushing, trying to get through it, made bogey on 5. And then the skies opened up and it rained hard enough that we pulled under a tree for probably 10 or 15 minutes. The rain started to slow down. We each got our tee shots off, but then it rained hard again for another 10 minutes. And I think that really changed the course of the day. So my next shot on 6, after the rain had subsided a little bit, well, my drive was in standing water. So I moved the ball and hit what I thought was really a pretty good 6-iron, but there's still water on the ground. It was still raining a little bit. I'm not sure what to make of it when the weather's like that. I think the ball is a little heavier, doesn't fly as well. Came up short, made bogey on 6, go to 7, good tee shot. It's par 3, right of the green, standing water on the green. That as I chip up onto the green, slows the ball down. 2-putt, make bogey on 7, bogey on 8, double bogey on 9 for a 44 on the front. And the weather did play a part. Oriole, and I've talked about it before, drains really well, but it rained really hard. And it did. Half an hour later, the course was in great shape. But for a couple of holes, it was tough. Beyond that, I was drenched. Socks, shoes, gloves. It was, I went without gloves for a while because it was just easier to not wear a glove and hold the golf club, because there were a couple of swings where I felt like I could just feel the club twisting in my hand, and it wasn't ideal. Then when the rain did stop and it dried up, the sun came out, and as it does, you've got all this moisture, the sun starts to bake. It feels like you're in a pot boiling. So we went from getting rained on to getting steamed like a lobster. It was a tough day out on the golf course. Long story short, shoot 47 on the back for a 91 on Sunday. So, like I said when I started this, I was trying to find ways to look at these 2 rounds of golf. And because when I go back to the white tees, I go back to basically what I seem to shoot every week, which is a 90. But I can tell you from the golds, it's not an 11 or 12 stroke difference. So here's a few things. Like I said, Jeff played from the golds on Sunday, and he played good golf. He hit the ball well. He made one kind of big mistake on the 9th hole, but he shot 87 from the gold tees on Sunday and told me that his best ever from the golds was 84. So made me feel like, hey, going out and shooting 80 was a pretty good day. Now, what was the difference between Saturday and Sunday other than I played from a different tee box? The difference was, and the theory behind moving up to play shorter tees is you'll score better because you'll hit more greens in regulation, and that will allow you to put up a better score. It was not the case for me. On Saturday, I hit 6 greens in regulation, which is kind of a normal number for me. Now, on Sunday from the white tees, I hit 4 greens in regulation. But here's some of the big numbers. On Saturday, 29 putts. And I did have 2 3-putts on Saturday included in those 29 total putts. On Sunday, it took me 34 putts to get around the course. And same thing, 2 3-putts. But here's the big number. On Saturday, I had 7 up and downs. On Sunday, I had 1. So I said last week that I felt like my short game, my chipping, my pitching had improved dramatically. And I felt it on Saturday. And in addition to the chipping and pitching, I putted the ball really well on Saturday. On Sunday, I started the day feeling pretty good. I do think the rain mid-round slowed things down. I had some muddier lies. The greens were a little slower, but I go from 7 up and downs on Saturday to 1 on Sunday. And on Sunday, I had some pretty good chips and pitches. I had 6 putts on Sunday that missed the hole, didn't go in, and those 6 putts missed by a total of about 10 inches. On 6 different holes, I hit putts that were within an inch of going in and just laid on. I missed a little left or short and just kind of laid on the lip and didn't go in. Those putts went in on Saturday. They didn't go in on Sunday. 7 up and downs versus 1 up and down. Saturday, I made 2 birdies. Sunday, I made 1 birdie. Saturday, I had 10 pars, 2 bogeys, and 4 doubles. Sunday, I had 2 pars, 10 bogeys, and 5 doubles. So doubles are similar. The difference is really the pars and the bogeys. But like I said, that's the difference. That's the 7 up and downs versus the 1 up and down. And there were 6 putts that were putts that did go in on Saturday that didn't go in on Sunday. And I think a piece of it was the weather and the rain. And because I felt like I was putting the ball really well. Even the people I were playing with, they're like, man, I can't believe you missed another one like that tight. But it's just the way it goes sometimes. It's golf, right? The putts fell on Saturday. They didn't fall on Sunday. On Saturday, I hit 2 bunkers, double bogeyed both. On Sunday, I hit 1 bunker, doubled that, and I put 1 ball in the water. So, yes, playing a little further up helped, but I still, while June was not good to me, the truth is, the only round in the month of June where I broke 90 was the round that I played from the gold tees. From a scoring standpoint, one of my worst months of the year. And early in the month, I wasn't playing good golf. But as I round out the month, I really do feel like I am playing better golf. I feel really good about my short game. And it's just, it all kind of came together for me on Saturday. And I hope that's not the last time. I hope that happens again. But let me know what you think. Am I crazy? Am I right? Yes, moving up a set of tees helped, but I don't think it's the difference between shooting an 80 and a 91. So I did go back and I did look to see when was the last time that I played from the gold tees. And I thought it was last year. That I was wrong. It was almost 2 years ago now. So it goes back to August 10th of 2024. So on August 10th of 2024, last time I played at Oriole from the gold tees, I shot a 97. The next day, I went back to the white tees and I shot a 94. So like I said, I remember going and moving up a set of tees and thinking it would be easier, and it did not work out that way. Now, am I 17 strokes per round better today than I was about 2 years ago? Honestly, I probably am. From a handicap standpoint, that would not be all that far off. But so again, this is what I've been doing. I've been trying to, I guess, make myself feel, I don't say feel better, but give myself a little bit of credit for going out and shooting an 80 from the gold tees. And I think, again, looking at, what Jeff shot from the gold, what his best round is, looking at the last time that I played the gold 2 years ago, that improvement, I do think it was more than just moving up a set of tees. I think I played a good round of golf on Saturday. And as June comes to an end, I've now played 55 rounds of golf in 2026. My low score being the 80 that we just talked about. My high score being 105. I'm averaging 90.7 strokes per round. My handicap as I end June is a 16.3. At the end of June, same day last year, I was a 20.5. So while the progress this year it hasn't been what I would like it to be. I look at those numbers and I say, I have gotten better. I am, from a handicap standpoint, I'm 4 points down from where I was this time last year. I shot an 80 from the gold tees as compared to a 97 the last time I played there about 2 years ago. And beyond all of that, I just feel like I'm putting the ball well. My short game has improved. I think I'm turning a corner. Now, I'd love to be able to come on here and say, hey, I played from the white tees and shot an 82 or an 83 or whatever that may be. And I do think I'll get there. And I think that Saturday, while this was going on, again, as I got towards the end of the round, I kind of felt it and I knew I had a good round going. For most of the day, I stayed in the moment. I mean, I had some frustrations on the front where I hit bunkers, made doubles, and just walked off that hole and forgot about it and said, all right, let's get to the next hole and let's play good golf. And one of the things I'm proudest of from over the weekend, and it was my motto, I was driving to the golf course and I said, we've got to erase the triples. We are not making triples this weekend. We are going to go out there. We're going to fight for bogeys. If we make some doubles, it's not the end of the world, but we are not going to make triples this weekend. And over those 2 rounds of golf, 0 triples on Saturday, 0 triples on Sunday. And that's a win. That was what I wanted to do. Beyond score, beyond whatever went on, my goal was to make no triples over the weekend. And I accomplished that. And hey, there were some spots where I had to make some big putts to make double. But staying in it, staying present, fighting for double, not accepting a triple, just like fighting for a bogey and not accepting a double. Like, that's the name of the game. And that's what I did well over the weekend. So I'd love to hear from you. What do you make of the fact that I was 11 strokes better on Saturday than I was on Sunday? Is it all about those 444 yards less that I played? Or does it show that my golf game is there and I am capable and I can do it? And this whole journey to break 80 is not an impossible mission, but something that I'm getting closer and closer to doing. Like I said, love to hear from you. Love to hear your opinion and love to hear what's going on with your golf game. How you doing? What's going on? What are you working on? What's working? What's not? Thanks for being here, and I'll talk to you next week. If you made it this far, thank you. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you hung in there for the whole show. If you enjoyed it, please rate, review, and subscribe. And maybe even share it with a friend who is out there on their own golf journey. If you listen on Spotify, leave a comment or a question, or send me an email at breaking80over50@gmail.com. I promise I'll read every one. All music was provided by Epidemic Sound. I'll leave links to any of the content that I mentioned in the show notes. Keep swinging, keep smiling, and remember, it's a game. Get out there and have fun. Thanks, everybody.